Hello there, Wizard of Arc here. Last week I introduced the Cowboy Chords. This week we'll dig into them a bit deeper to help us learn more about playing the guitar. This will be a bit longer of a video because we'll be starting on each cowboy chord and looking at all three note subsets. These subsets can be used to play chords up and down the neck. Let's start with our E major cowboy chord. The notes from lowest to highest are E, B, E, G sharp, B, and E. Let's take these 2 or 3 notes at a time. Our first 3 here are E, B, and E. This is our root, 5th, and root again. This is sometimes called a power chord. If we move the shape up and down the neck and stay on the same strings, it will maintain the root 5th root pattern for each chord. If your root is on the 6th string, this shape gives you your power chord. Let's take the next set of strings, starting with on the A string. These are the notes B, E, and G sharp. This is our 5th, our root, and our 3rd. This shape is called second inversion. If we move the shape up and down the neck and stay on these strings, it will maintain the 5th root, 3rd shape for each chord. If your 5th is on the 5th string, this shape gives you your major chord. Let's take the next 3 strings. Starting on the D string. These are E, G sharp, and B. This is root, 3rd, and 5th. This shape is, unsurprisingly, called the root position. If we move the shape up and down the neck and stay on these strings, it will maintain the root, 3rd, 5th pattern for each chord. If your root is on the 4th string, this is the shape for your major chord. And let's take the last set of strings. Your notes will be G sharp, B, and E. This is your 3rd, your 5th, and your root. This shape gives us what is called the first inversion. If we move the shape up and down the neck and stay on these strings, it will maintain the 3rd, 5th root pattern for each chord. If your 3rd is on the 3rd string, this is your shape. Now, A major. The notes from lowest to highest are A, C sharp, and E. These take 2 with, it looks like we're just going to be doing 3 notes at a time. Our first 3 here are A, E, and A. This is our root, 5th, and another root. And this is our power chord again. If we move this shape up and down the neck, it'll stay the same root, 5th root pattern. And if your root is on the 5th string, this shape gives you your power chord. The next 3 strings of our A major cowboy chord, these are the notes E, A, and C sharp. This is our 5th root and 3rd. This shape is our second inversion. It looks a little different than the other one. And I can go into a video about exactly why that is. But this is the second inversion shape on the 4th string. So if we move this up and down the neck and stay on these strings, it will maintain the 5th root and 3rd pattern for each chord. If your 5th is on the 4th string, this shape gives you your major chord. Let's take the last 3 strings here of our A major cowboy chord. These notes are A, C sharp, and E. This is our root, 3rd, and 5th of our chord. This shape is called root position. If we move this shape up and down the neck and stay on these strings, it will maintain the root, 3rd, 5th pattern for each chord. If your root is on the 3rd string, this is your major chord shape. All right, let's switch to our D major cowboy chord. The notes from lowest to highest are D, A, D, and F sharp. Let's take these 3 at a time. Our first 3 here are D, A, and D. This is our root, 5th, and root. This is our power chord again, slightly different shape. If we move this shape up and down the neck, stay on these same strings, we will always maintain the root, 5th root pattern for each chord. If your root is on the 4th string, this shape gives you a power chord. The next 3 strings for a D major cowboy chord, starting on the G string. These notes are A, D, and F sharp. This is our 5th, root, and 3rd. The shape is called the 2nd inversion. If we move the shape up and down the neck and stay on these strings, it will maintain the 5th, root, 3rd position for each chord. If your 5th is on the 3rd string, this is your major chord shape. All right, let's move to our next cowboy chord, G major. The notes from lowest to highest are G, B, D, G, B, and G again. Let's take these notes 3 at a time. Our first 3 here are G, B, and D. This is a root position with a root, 3rd, and 5th. If we move the shape up and down, stay on these strings, it will maintain the root, 3rd, 5th pattern for each chord. If your root is on the 6th string, this is your major chord shape. All right, the next 3 strings are fretted in this cowboy chord shape are B, D, and G. This is our 3rd, 5th, and root. The shape is our 1st inversion. If we move the shape up and down the neck and stay on the strings, we will maintain the 3rd, 5th, and root position for each chord. If your 3rd is on the 5th string, this is your major chord shape. The next strings, starting on the D string, these notes are D, G, and B. This is our 5th, root, and 3rd. This shape is called the 2nd inversion. And if you look, it's probably familiar because this is the same as when we did A major. The same shape. So I'm not going to go back over that. Let's take the next 3 strings. These are G, B, and G. And it's root, 3rd, root. It's in a very common chord shape. Well, let's call it 1-3-1. Move it up and down, the neck will be the same pattern, of course. So if your root is on the 3rd string and you want, for some reason, to play the root 3 octave or root 3-1, this is your shape. All right, let's move to our C major cowboy chord. These are tuned, the notes are C, E, G, C, and E. And the first 3 are C, E, and G. This is root position, the root, 3rd, and 5th. And as always, if we move it up and down the neck, it'll maintain that shape and that pattern of root, 3rd, 5th. And if your root is on the 5th string and you want to play a major chord, this is your shape. The next set of 3 strings for our C major cowboy chord are E, G, C, which is our 3rd, root, and 5th. And this shape is called a 1st inversion. And it'll maintain a shape as you go up and down the strings. So if your 3rd is on the 4th string, this is your major chord shape. And if you take the last 3 strings, these are G, C, and E, which is 5th, root, and 3rd, which is our 2nd inversion. And yes, all the stuff we talked about with the D major chord on the starting at the 3rd string applies here because it's the exact same shape. In fact, the D is like a special case of the C, or vice versa. It's 2nd inversion on the 3rd string. That's your shape for your major chord. Minor cowboy chords. And since the only difference between a minor chord and a major chord is the 3rd, we're going to skip the power chords because they are going to be exactly the same because there's no 3rd in the power chord. So let's start with our E minor chord, E, B, E, G, B, E. And we'll skip the power chord and go straight to the 5th string. These notes are B, E, and G. 5th, root, and minor 3rd. This is 2nd inversion. If we move the shape up and down, it'll stay the same, of course. If your 5th is on the 5th string and you want to play a minor chord, this is your shape. The next 3 strings are E, G, and B. And this is our root, 3rd, 5th, root position. And if your root is on the 4th string and you want to play a minor chord, this is your shape. The next 3 strings, in fact, the last ones we have is G, B, and E. This is 3rd, 5th root. It's called 1st inversion. And if your 3rd is on the 3rd string, this is your minor chord shape. Now to the A minor cowboy chord. These notes are A, E, A, C, and E. Skipping the power chords, of course, we're going to go straight to the fourth string. E, A, and C are our notes. That's fifth, root, and third. This is a second inversion. And if your fifth is on the fourth string, this is your minor chord shape. All right, if we take the last three strings for A minor, the notes are A, C, and E. This is root, third, and fifth, technically minor third. This is our root position. And if your root is on the third string and you want to play a minor chord, this is your shape. Finally, our D minor chord, D minor cowboy chord. The notes from lowest to highest are D, A, D, and F. Skipping the power chords, let's take the next three strings, which are the only strings left here. The notes are A, D, and F. That's our fifth, root, and minor third. This is second inversion. And if your fifth is on the third string and you want to play a minor chord, this is your shape. So there you have it. Cowboy chords have shown us how to play any major or minor chord anywhere on the guitar neck. I hope you found this useful. Please like, subscribe, and click on that notification bell. Long.